but you.
Good evening, everyone. The time is all of 6:03. I will call this meeting to order, and if we could start with the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with justice and liberty for all. All right, thanks for coming out tonight, guys. If we could do a quick roll call.
Bill Rashansky at large.
Kristen Wolf, school board member, Langdon. Ryan Schoonover, Ackworth.
Matt Benoit, Langdon.
Garrett Neal, at large, residing in Charlestown.
Jacob Gay, Charlestown.
Thank you, everyone. First on the agenda is review and approval of prior meeting minutes. I didn't get any, and Steve's not here tonight, so I guess we'll have to table that. Not sure what else we can do. Next on the agenda is review and discussion of any information shared with the budget committee from the school board or administration, because they have been sending us some stuff. I said any because last month's data I only forwarded to everybody this afternoon because I was out of town. If anybody wants to revisit anything that was sent out last month, we can.
I have a couple of things I want to revisit, yeah.
And then we don't have to do the whole hit list either. We can just, whatever people want to talk about, start right with you,
I
man.
have two things. One is follow up on that $700,000 loan. I think
It was 500. So
was it 5? Oh yeah,
yeah.
7 was the excess. That's right.
right.
Yeah.
So she said the 2 buses were part of that 500,000. Remember we were questioning whether or not the 2 buses that we were going to pay outright for instead of lease were part of that. So instead of leasing them, they're going to purchase them outright, is my understanding, because it saves us about $66,000 in future budgets by not leasing them.
But do we know if she actually got the loan or not? Because at the time we didn't know.
I don't believe so, because we're going to buy 2 of them outright. There may be 2 of them that are already being leased.
Okay.
But they were going to buy them to save the, I think it was like $66,000 and change if we bought them outright. And the reason they're replacing them is because we bought buses from somebody in Maine, I'm not exactly sure of the vendor's name, that were Freightliners, and they've been nothing but maintenance problems. So we're trying to get away from them and get into something that isn't going to be such a problem for us, and then we'll keep it for 8 years. Instead of, I think the traditional was like 6, if I'm not mistaken. So we're stretching it out a couple extra years so that we don't have to replace it as often.
So if that's done, it was on another page, 200 and something thousand.
Yeah, it was, I believe it
That was
was like,
set aside for a bus, so that'll have to be reallocated for something else instead of a bus? Or is that going to be an additional bus?
I think it's all part of the pot, because I think those 2 were total, I think they were like $245, if I'm remembering correctly. The 2 buses together to purchase were about $245. And the other 2 were the additional, and that together equals the $500,000. I think they're gonna, instead of leasing them, they're gonna purchase them outright. So they won't be an ongoing cost as far as like a lease agreement out the door every month.
So they're like 2 1/4, 2 1/2 a piece?
I believe so, yes.
Okay, so that.
Well, no, I believe they're $245 for 2 is what was my understanding.
That was my understanding also.
Yeah.
So like 122.50 a piece?
Something like that.
So that amount, that
I think it was like $245.
I wonder if they had 245 that's allocated for the
That's
bus.
2,
That's
right.
2. So then, if that's going to be used for 2 buses, what's the 500,000 for?
I think the other 2 buses may already have been leased, but I'm you know what,
Additional
I
buses?
did answer that. Let me look at my notes, because
The last, if I can help you.
you can go ahead.
I mean, is there 4 buses total?
So the last meeting I made, 3 meetings ago, I believe, it was my understanding that the loan was already taken out. 2 buses were purchased, but they were leased, excuse me. They were gonna buy out that lease to get away from the finance charges, and then buy 2 more buses under that pot.
Right, so that.
That was my takeaway from it.
So there is 4 buses then?
Right.
That's-
There's still
Okay, that
4.
all makes sense.
But
So it's like-
yeah, we're backing away from having to have a payment so
Yeah.
that we don't have to pay more than what we need to be paying.
Nice.
But where's the
Okay.
money coming out from exactly? Because I don't have my notes here in front of me. So there's 4 buses.
It was coming out of the surplus from the.
So that was the FY 2026 estimated fund balance savings?
Correct.
So out of the 600.
That was one of their requests, was to do the 2 buses outright.
So if 2 of them are being bought with that allocated, and 2 are at like, what is it, 245 you
And
said?
how are the
That's
other 2
number?
being funded?
Why are the other 2 costing 500?
So the part of that $500,000 loan,
Okay.
they did not have, there was a contingency in that where they did not have to use all of it.
Alright, so there'll probably be some left over then,
Yeah, and if they didn't use it, they didn't use it.
okay.
But was that
Pull that up. I'm
loan,
sorry, I don't have it right.
No, that's okay, we had talked about it last
You're right,
time.
and I
approved?
figured it out, but I didn't want to tell you the wrong.
school- Was the loan part of any
The
budget?
school board approved that
Right.
$500,000 loan that they asked.
But was it part of like the current fiscal year budget?
I can't answer that.
Regarding the buses under consideration for.
Now I know there's 4 buses, it
This
makes
is
a lot more
for
sense.
4 buses, but she proposed to buy 2 outright to save money on leasing in future budgets.
Yeah,
So that's what I got from them, is that like,
and have they been purchased?
I
We weren't sure.
don't believe, I think they're really quick on turnaround. I think everything was ready to proceed with that if there was if everybody agreed on it. So I don't know, I would imagine they probably move forward with it at this point because July 1st was yesterday. And I think we have to, today, I think we have to do everything we need to do, and that's our date,
Yeah, it's our deadline out.
right? If that's my understanding, unless I'm incorrect.
Could we also ask them about the other 2?
Yeah.
How were they funded? So 2 were purchased outright from the fund balance savings, and the other 2?
It's just an unknown.
Were they part of the current fiscal year budget? And if not, then where's that money coming from?
And then I have one more thing when you're ready, or when whoever's
You go, I
ready.
can.
If that's-
Absolutely.
If that's closed out. So last month, on the savings as of April 2026 FMRSD sheet, and then the FY 26 estimated fund balance savings, Bill had pointed out that there was an estimated 170,000 in excess revenue.
Different. She said the reason for the difference was offsetting expenditures, and it was intentionally conservative. So she said that it would be around 600 because sometimes there's expenditures that happen near the end of the year that they don't anticipate to happen. And
Yeah.
she didn't want to tell you that there was going to be more and then come back and tell you there was less. So she was conservative with her estimate on that.
Of the 170,
So
that ended up
that's-
being 303.
I just remember they said the total savings was 794, 676, 68, and then the report estimate was 600. So there was a difference between those 2 amounts.
Does this make sense?
Well,
to
Matt
you,
was
Bill?
talking about the exceeded income, exceeded revenue. That's
I
all.
don't have that question on my
So
sheet.
they said approximately 170,000 in excess revenue, and then the
I can
little
only read
schedule
so far, sorry.
was different.
That's okay.
So it was expected, but it came out to 303, so the difference was like 133 grand, almost 134,000.
That was different.
That's actually not too bad for a school district.
That's the only, I
Right, but do
mean,
we know? We were just all
There-
curious about the discrepancy last time, and if we could reconcile that at all, if it
there
has
was
been reconciled.
anticipated expenses that they weren't expecting.
I didn't
And
do
I'm
that.
not sure
I
what,
think that's actually better than their track record. Hasn't it been millions versus 100 and some
Probably.
thousand?
It wouldn't surprise me any.
Significantly better in the right direction.
expense savings of 177, I believe that let me just ask, because I don't want to tell you the wrong thing.
Yeah, see on the
So-
bottom of this sheet, those three is the actual exceeding
Okay,
other. And then that one's the difference, the 133 from what was anticipated, which
So-
is fine, things go over, but
I
on
know.
that page, it doesn't show that.
that's why, like, what accounts for the difference? Are there anticipated, so she said there was a difference, was offsetting expenditures, so there was some stuff that came up that we had to pay.
Yeah,
And then it was intentionally conservative. I will ask her what those expenditures were, but I don't want to say the wrong thing. There's something there that we had to do, that we couldn't avoid doing.
okay.
But I will ask.
I just wanted to follow up on it,
And I
because
just,
it's up to the crack real quick.
I
Right.
just want, before we move on, I just want to explain why I'm so fixated on those other 2 buses, because it sounds to me like they can just take out a loan and pay for some buses, and it doesn't have to be part of the budget.
They had to ask permission from the board. I think they
I
asked
guess
us
that
to
doesn't
vote on
surprise
it.
me, but it does.
I don't think it's,
I mean, they could have a budget that doesn't include buying buses, and then mid-year,
I think-
they can just say, hey, we need some buses, and
I think that if there's money there that they haven't allocated to anything else, they can ask if they can use it for that.
that makes sense.
But that's where my line of thinking is, but I can ask.
I concur on that.
Okay. It's just a procedural thing. I just need to know so that, you know,
Okay.
So if
I
they, if
accept it
there's
in the future as
Okay.
they're allowed to do this.
they are. That is correct that they are.
Yeah.
So if there is a surplus at the end, they can decide to make expenditures upon that.
Okay. That's all I had.
Thank you.
I just wanted to follow up on this
No,
so it
absolutely.
doesn't get lost, you know?
Anybody else want to talk about any of the other documents or anything that's been shared with us in the last couple months? Cool. Moving on. Default budget. Today's July 1st, which I think is the first day of the new fiscal year, if I understand how we operate, and voters of the school district voted down the budget presented to them last year, so the school district's operating under their default budget. I don't know very much about the default budget. I know on December 8th at a school board meeting, the default budget summary was presented to the school board. Pretty certain I either sat in that meeting in the general admission seats or listened to it. I really don't understand what the chemistry of a default budget versus their normal budget is, but I know there's this, that, and the other with it. The other thing I got on the default budget, what little bit of information I got for you guys, is a copy of the 2026 MS-DSB. So this is what was given to the state for what would be our default
The whole
budget.
package? Just that one
These
form?
4 pages.
That was given to the state?
Yeah, it's what they had, the school board and the budget committee sign. Ryan, you signed it, didn't
I believe so, yes.
you? Yeah, the whole committee last year wasn't able to get in, but a bunch of us signed it.
We're
bunch
required
of-
by law to do so.
I know that we had several members that didn't before
You're supposed to
Misty's.
have a quorum of the board sign it.
I
So
think we
our
did get
committee
that.
And the school board.
I signed it because I
Yeah.
was the budget committee last year.
So are we supposed to sign this year?
No, this is just a copy of last year.
But you will this coming year.
Yeah.
It may not be a default, but yes, you will, as a member of this committee, be required or asked to sign. But as you were not a member at that time.
So clarification, is this the breakdown of what the new default budget is gonna, how it's gonna be used?
Let me say,
Yeah,
I
of course.
honestly don't know. I asked the school board chair this afternoon via a phone call if there was a detailed breakdown available yet, being that it was the first of the year. And she said, not yet. And then later, yes,
It should be how it is intended to be used, but that's not to say that the accounting department can't do like journal entries to move
Mhm.
funds from line item to line item.
Yeah, that's, because I know the last meeting, there was a question, I'm waiting to get that breakdown. I know Steve
Yeah.
asked.
Bottom line should be correct.
Right.
If we're at this new spot, then, remember I did 700,000 sitting there from health insurance?
so those are in the capital reserve funds, which is different from the operating budget.
Oh, okay, so it's a whole different,
Yeah, because they gotta put a warrant on the ballot and get the voters of the district to approve removing
either
that.
moving it or sending it back or putting it like in an account to get interest. or-
Yeah, so to use the capital reserve funds, it has to go on the ballot, so it's not part of the budget,
Okay,
even though it is money.
yeah, just checking.
It's,
Wonderful.
yeah.
Quick
Wonderful.
question, thank you for
Bill.
mentioning insurance. Could you ask the school board if, who they use for health insurance?
I believe it's Health Trust.
Yep. Who?
Health Trust?
Health Trust? And did they consider using someone else? I just want to know why it went up 20% when Blue Cross Blue Shield, like went up half that.
So I can tell you, when Fall Mountain School District was not alone in that. I
Correct.
can tell you that other VAs in other school districts did just do that and did shop around for the
Correct.
new, and it didn't
It didn't help?
help.
Okay, just wanted to make sure.
And I can tell you that from professional.
I can second that. I echo that, that's a very real.
Yeah, a lot of school districts did the same thing,
And shopping around didn't help.
and that's part of the budget, budget season. And coming up with a new budget that we all just voted on, and now we're talking about.
Wow.
Yeah,
My company, I mean, got railroaded on our health insurance for our employees this year.
20%.
Because I forget, one of them did go up. It's almost twice as much as some of the others, I forget. But yeah, okay, good.
but there's other factors in that too, you know.
Yes, yeah.
Sizes, school sizes, employee
Claims,
sizes,
yeah.
families, and
Yep.
Also, the CBA sometimes recommends or requires you to hold a certain plan or certain options on a plan.
The what does?
The CBA, the collective bargaining agreement.
Yep, okay. Yep,
So you
right.
can't always change,
Okay,
because your bargaining agreement has said we will provide X, Y, and Z,
right.
and you must provide X, Y, and Z regardless if the cost went up outside of what you can control.
Thank you.
Did I answer your question?
basically the way I heard that was a no.
Yeah, it's a short. I just want to make sure I didn't leave
You
you
just
hanging.
say no, and
I forget what the question was.
I guess the rest of it I got on the default budget is that I'm gonna carry it on the agenda again next month in hopes that we got a little bit more to look at, and that if we wanna dive into it, we can, or we could go other avenues with our discussions as we see fit. That's what I got for the default budget right now. If anybody, I mean, it is what it is. Under new business / open discussion, next on the agenda, I'd like to introduce, so everybody knows, I'm running a Zoom meeting now.
Nice.
I guess it's gonna be Google Meet or something, I don't know.
Okay.
Teams or I don't know, something. They'll get me straightened out. Why I'd like to discuss it is the group before mine and Ryan's session started. In the session before us 2 years ago and 3 years ago, they did a lot of work with the budget committee guidelines and bylaw type stuff. Does the committee want to have any dialogue on the chair taking this over? I'd like to have a little.
Taking over the zone thing?
Yep.
How do you feel about that? Do you feel comfortable with that transition?
I, being a field creature, not an office-based person,
I think you're the.
sometimes
perfect guy.
can really mess up tech stuff, and other times I can do it just fine. I personally have mixed feelings on it.
Are you capable of making a recording on your device with that?
Probably.
Will there be training provided to you?
I'm gonna go with extremely minimal.
We could get you some written instructions.
Would you
above
like
his
somebody
pay
else to
grade.
volunteer to do it?
One of the everybody hates the philosophical podium, but philosophically, one of the problems I got with accepting this is it sets the precedent for every other chair behind me.
True.
It's already an uncontested race, or mine was. And then the chair seat's also limited by whatever RSA that says that either at-large person has to do it, not one of the 5 town seats. So my real reservation on doing this would be everybody that chairs this committee behind me is gonna have the same expectation.
Is this change being done because the default budget no longer affords the tech?
I was told in conversation that if the budget committee wants to have IT, that the budget committee needs to put an IT line in, and my response to that individual was, the budget committee sets the budget number, big one. We don't get allowed to do individual line items. And I'll reiterate that fact. When we said cut 1.5 million last year, we gave them a laundry list where they could take it, and they only exercised half of it.
So this change
Their
is
prerogative.
stemming from that. Is that what you're saying?
I think it's just stemming from, I get it from a fiscally conservative angle, not spending payroll, but we're charged with dealing with a $38 to $40 million budget. And if we're gonna take 12 meetings at 4 hours of tech time, that's 48 hours. And even if we had to hire it out rate for cost analysis on the high side at $125 an hour, which you can find a tech guy for less and you can find a tech guy for more, so I think that's fair. That's only $6,000. 0.02% of a $38 million budget is $76,000, so I get the financial part, but this is pretty petty too.
So,
So there's 2 questions there I'm hearing. One is the at-large person, RSA,
I still don't even understand that. 'Cause
shouldn't be a chair? Is that what I'm hearing?
No, they
And
shouldn't.
number 2,
No, so
Budget
there's an
committee doesn't-
RSA that says that only the at-large person can chair this committee, supposedly.
okay. That's clarification.
Yeah, and it also says you can't be a select board member of one of the individual towns.
That's fair.
So
That's a
Yes,
con-
yes
That's a
and no.
conflict of interest.
Which means
to operate the camera is a conflict of interest?
No, to chair the committee.
To be on the town select board as a
Because
cooperative.
I am on the Ackworth Select Board, so
Yeah.
therefore I could be sitting as the night chair position and promoting Ackworth in an unfair light versus the other towns as part of our cooperative. I also feel that's
That's how
fair.
I lost the plot there because I thought the question was, should the chair, being you, have the duty of?
Oh, I was just mentioning other things that already restrict getting the chair seat filled
Correct.
in the conversation.
So,
Because it's only,
So
the-
they want you to pay for the recording?
no, they don't want me,
No.
no, that's not it.
Wants
It's
to
just
run.
that
They want you to
I'm-
run.
want me to run the Zoom meeting.
Why does it have to be the chair? Can it be just anyone?
It could be anyone.
Can it be a collective, whoever can figure it out, just hit the button?
I guess so. I mean, I've just
I
been
don't know.
approached. I mean, nobody said it had to be the chair. They just approached me and said,
Kyle just threw it at you,
hey, come in and learn this because we're not going to be here for you.
right?
Oh, they're not doing the meeting.
So the
anymore, like-
alternative is our committee deciding not to continue to have recorded meetings?
I was going to start with the alternative could be to refuse to run the meeting, and the school district's already done these, I think, since 2022, so they got 3.5 going on 4 years of precedent of it already coming out of a budget somewhere.
So my second question was, are they forcing the budget committee to have a budget?
I don't know, I thought it was a dumb fucking statement, excuse my language. I mean,
Am I
to
understanding that right?
hear that, like, yeah, but to hear, well, if the budget committee wants tech support, they gotta put a line in them.
Yeah, but you have to operate like you're charged with the
So,
thing
What?
to do what you're supposed to do, and you have to follow the rules just like they do as a committee.
all right, so does the school board,
Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but first of all, so for RSA 91A, we are not required by law to record our meetings. So there's that, we are not
Yeah.
required to. However, I feel like there was a motion or some action done by the school board saying that they were going to do so. Can we double check what their motion was regarding that?
I mean, transparency is important.
I do agree transparency is important, but if
Wholeheartedly.
the school board made a motion to record their meetings, we are just as important as them, and if they made that motion, they should support ours being done professionally as well. Because I don't assume that Alyssa, as chair of the school board, is also taking on this, is she?
I haven't discussed this with Melissa yet, because this is all kind of new to me.
It's something I would be interested in knowing. So if the
I'm-
school board is making the same expectation as the budget committee, then that, I might feel differently.
Profanity aside, I am trying to behave myself with this a little bit.
Can we go to the audience for a second? Were you doing the school budget,
Would you
school
do
board
attendance,
meetings
please
too?
put me down as a public.
Of course.
I'm here as a taxpayer and cannot speak on behalf of the school.
Okay.
So who actually, like?
Does anybody know who is doing the IT for the school budget? The
So-
school budget
Switches,
on their
right?
meeting?
Yeah, it's different
depends on
people.
staffing.
It depends
Depends
on
on
who's
staffing.
available, and then, yeah. So why is this like,
I feel like it's coming from the middle of the food chain. I don't know how else to describe it.
well, I mean, if they don't want it recorded, then we take good minutes. That's, I mean, there's a lot of gray area there,
I am not,
right? I mean, I feel like they would want it recorded.
I would think the general public would want this meeting
Yeah.
recorded. Rand?
this is gonna sound unkind, but I don't feel like there's a good documented, written agendas or minutes for quite a few committee meetings. And I
Correct.
feel like without a recording, we would be in a very bad place.
I concur.
so one of us to record that, what do we do with that recording? I'm just trying to find a process.
They'll, when they come back in on their next shift, they'll just take in, it'll be business as normal. I mean,
So you share the recording with IT.
And then they-
yeah, it's been explained to me that they're gonna issue me a device. And then
Whoever's doing the recording device.
Yeah. So there's still a lot of questions on how it all shakes out.
What do you mean issue you a device like a laptop?
Yeah.
Yes,
And then that'll be,
Well, what's this laptop?
his personal
This is
laptop.
the IT department's
The
laptop.
IT department?
It's one of the
Couldn't
longest.
you use that to
Or it's
record
not.
it, and then also share it to all committee members, so they also have copies of the recording in case something happens to it in
Well, it
transit?
would be saved to the website.
The website.
Right, so you upload a copy of that, which is just like no different than any of our other previous meetings or the school boards as well.
I mean, I'm fine doing it. I just wanted to give the committee
I think
to have a little,
that's the pot calling the kettle black, and I'm probably gonna get in trouble for this, but if you're gonna do it that way, why don't we save money and do it that way too?
well, so that's a parallel argument, because my argument wants to be if the school board's getting theirs, I want mine. You know, we're saying the same thing.
Right.
It's a valid question.
I'd like to chime in now. So I don't have
Absolutely.
enough information. You need some written instructions, including what to do when the instructions don't work. If it was just a matter of, hey, plug it in and hit power on, then I could do that. And if you say, hey, I can't make the meeting, Bill, will you do it? Yeah, I'll turn the power on and press the go button. If it's anything harder than that, then let's have a discussion about it. And like giving you a laptop, it sounds like you couldn't easily just give that to one of us to back you up, and that would make it something you shouldn't be doing.
Well, it's also.
And
setting
if
up
we're
the
gonna do it, then,
Yep.
yeah. I
Because
think
we
the
gotta
school
set
board
up
should do
the
it.
owl, and then we won't have the big screen, we'll have to all bring our own laptops so that we can look, which I don't think's a big deal. You know, but for us, you know, we've been spoiled with good tech support,
Right,
like excellent tech support.
right.
However, we did say we wanted them to find ways to cut the budget, so I do understand the financial aspect of it. It may not be what I support, but I do understand that you gotta, you know, you have rising health insurance costs, you have to cut somewhere.
Let's just figure out how big the burden
48
is.
hours of a staff member's time just to do tech support for one meeting is over a week that he or she's not doing
Supporting.
stuff for the students.
Right.
So, I mean, I recognize that part.
I second that.
I think the same way, but I'm thinking at it from another perspective too, like, if we're gonna do it, we should all do it.
Can
Right.
we find out from the school board what they're gonna do? Is Alyssa gonna run this Google Meet link?
Yeah, I can ask,
And we
because
can
I mean.
take-
Yeah, because we don't have to answer this tonight. I just wanted,
Find out what the school board is doing, how they're addressing it, and add it to the next agenda for our next meeting.
And find out whether it's something you can easily hand off if you can't make a meeting. There has to be backup, that's how I always
Correct.
function at work. Somebody's gotta cover for me if I get hit by a bus.
Right.
If it's some big thing, like he needs a laptop to do it, well, then are they gonna give us all laptops and then they defeated their purpose of saving money? I don't know.
Is there capability of Assembly of doing any of that?
Well, yes and no. First of all, is the school board going to adopt Assembly?
Maybe,
Well, then maybe.
I think so.
So
but don't
Assembly
want to-
has capabilities of creating a Zoom link. and-
what's Assembly?
So Assembly is a board software platform.
Oh, okay,
that
is this the one
can
you
do
talked about randomly over last year?
Agenda, meeting minutes, all that. They can also do policy, strategic planning, a whole variety of things, superintendent evaluation. It's a platform on web-based that can house all things committee. Highly recommend. If we were gonna spend money on something, I would say buy Assembly at 1,000%. We'd be fucking stupid not to. If you wanna F-bomb something, put 12 grand into
like
the
this fucking
budget.
place.
Oh, geez.
Put 12 grand into the budget to buy Assembly for transparency purposes, 1,000% over. Period.
That's
Googling
why I
that
asked, 'cause
Highly recommend. I can't highly recommend this platform any more than that.
Were you looking for a motion?
No,
Okay.
I was just wanting to get some dialogue started on,
Just, yep, copy.
because there's more questions than answers at this point anyways.
Mm-hmm. I hear that.
Listen, if
Yeah,
worst comes to worst, we show up next month and it's a cluster mess. I can turn on my iPhone and hit record, and I can upload.
Well, that's
it
kind of what I
online.
was thinking too.
If worst comes to worst, it's not.
I mean, I don't think
brain
we're
surgery.
in dire
As far as
straits.
that goes, and I'm a Luddite, so
And then-
if I can figure it out.
But
we all
yeah,
can.
if,
I think also though, I mean, I would love to have the transparency for the taxpayers to be able to see us having these discussions, but at the same time, I would also, and I hate to say this, be willing to take minutes to also add that level of transparency if we cannot do this. I know that Steve has offered to do so and whatnot, but, and no disrespect to Steve, but we haven't seen the minutes from last time.
Yeah, and
And
I failed the group under multiple occasions getting minutes out when I said I was gonna do it, so.
To defend Steve, it was actually my turn last month and I dropped the ball and he quickly volunteered to
Yeah.
do it for me.
but we have like a platform where we upload to the website now and they each match each other. We have our own little section of like school board and the minutes and the agenda and so forth, and then the budget committee has it and it matches.
But it's not being done. So there's no follow through there.
Okay.
Because I recently looked and I could not find minutes for either school board or budget committee meetings or agendas
I wonder if that's because
online.
they're gonna transition to the other thing, but at the same time, like if one is one way, the other should be the same
Yeah,
platform.
I know historically, Rand's 100% this committee's weak on getting minutes.
And that's extremely unfortunate and it's against the law.
So I'm a huge advocate for the YouTube. That,
Oh, yeah, that's
I know that this last meeting, which I really needed to see for tonight's meeting, has not been posted yet. Because there's questions from the last school board meeting that needed to come up today.
I'm a little behind.
So I was on vacation too, but I was also getting,
See, you got some good fish in it.
I did. I did, and I needed it.
And I did take I got your information for the buyback and all the things you put in that map, and I have it. I haven't had the opportunity to have a conversation, but I did not forget.
That's fine, thank you.
Anything else under new business or open discussion?
You son of a.
So last week it was announced that we are hiring, trying to post it, a job posting for CEO. So in my professional opinion and talking to my professional other shoulder, that is now, the state now is calling that a superintendent position. The superintendent position is now a CEO. It's the same thing. So as the taxpayer in the default budget, it was in the default budget that we were not going to have a superintendent.
No, the default budget had a line item for superintendent. The one that was proposed did not have one. The budget that went before the taxpayers, they removed that. But the default budget was the the school year 25-26 did have a line item for that, for superintendent.
Well,
It's previous, so we.
right, but this new coming, so we took the superintendent position out
Yep.
for the default budget for this year.
No, we proposed a budget and the superintendent was not in it, but that was voted down. So that line
Under
item,
my understanding on the default budget, that superintendent position is not in there.
So there's ways they can hire a person if we need them, because there's, like, we tried to do I don't know if I'm gonna say it right, so bear with me. We had the leadership team, and they did a wonderful job, but they also have their own jobs, and it was a lot of pressure to try and do both. So we felt it was better, so they could do their job that they were intended to be there for, to the best of their ability, to have a person that was the superintendent,
So I guess
AKA CEO.
my follow-up question to that is, the money is in the default budget for the superintendent, or the CEO.
There's money for a CEO in there that we can hire. If we decide to address it later on and have another line item put in there for superintendent, we could always add it back. But the money that we're gonna use to hire this person is there and is available for that.
Thank you.
And they're approaching it conservatively because they're asking for at least 3 full-time days a week. So they are trying to be cognizant of the fact that we are in a default budget situation.
I totally get what they're doing, and I know why they're doing it. I totally agree with it. I just wish it was a couple of months ago. We're super late in the game to ask for this.
And
From a school district,
we didn't anticipate it a couple of months ago, at least I didn't as a board member. So I feel like that was probably the culmination of a lot of things because of a lot of different moving parts. We're dealing with the default budget and the health insurance and all these different moving things, plus the people that are in their normal jobs are trying to straddle like 1 foot in 2 worlds.
I completely agree with that.
I think
And
that's-
I feel like I questioned that to the school board during deliberative.
I think part of the problem was they had the last budget year, right? They had the superintendent search open, and with the withdrawal, they weren't getting any candidates, so they were kind of seeing what was happening with that, and with no interest, that kind of nixed the position, and then we as a budget committee said, please cut X, Y, and Z from the budget, And so that line item was eliminated, and so we're kind of had a trial run to see how things would go. And so I feel like as a school district and an SAU, now is kind of the time, if you are going to hire someone over the summer, is the time to do it.
I have to disagree.
Sure.
Only because I know, I've dealt with some of this stuff outside of Paul Mountain.
Same.
And, yeah. It is what it is.
Can we be part of the hiring process? Can we, one of us? I just want to know if they're going to hire a CEO, what's that person's objectives related to the budget? That's all. I'm not saying whether or not they should, I just want to know if they're going to go forward.
I was surprised, the conservative part on 3 days a week, I was surprised about is the size of the school district.
You know, specifically, like they could say, hey, we're hiring you and you got to cut costs 10%. Or we're hiring you, and they don't mention anything about costs, but they mention other things. I just want to know, are they going to tell that person to do anything with regard to the budget? And if they do, I'd like to hear about it.
So you want to know if you as a budget committee have room to
They're hiring a person, and so they must have a reason why.
Okay.
Is any of that related to the budget?
advise, maybe put, like advise and like have a say and
Yeah, please advise if that person's if that person's agenda includes anything to do with the budget.
I feel like the answer to that is yes,
Yeah.
because that position would oversee
You'd
and
think so, but
supervise
you don't
the
ask, you get a
BA.
definite answer and have it documented. I don't want to assume anything.
I agree with Ryan because I know they're looking for a person that has a strong organizational leadership background.
Yeah, I think that's great,
So-
but, you know.
So the job description is great, the way I read it. It's
Yeah.
dead on.
Is that in here?
So the 3 days a week.
Facebook,
So Chris
that's how I
Young,
got it.
Chris Young is.
Can they send us the job description, please?
I haven't looked it up on the,
I can send it, it's been made public.
All right.
So it's out there.
yeah.
Chris
And that's
Young-
how I found it was public, but.
Chris Young has he's the superintendent of curriculum, so he's there and he will assume responsibility of the district when the person that we hopefully hire is not there. So it won't be like we don't have anyone on site.
Oh, no, I'm not questioning that at all. I think Chris has done a good job, but I do know he's stressed.
Taxpayer out there.
Yeah.
I can see that. Watching.
CEO is an important position. I think if you get the right one in there, it's going to be great.
I have a conservative number of what it's gonna cost in my head, knowing what I know. But if the money is in the DePaul budget, then we can't really argue it either. So we can tell, like I was reminded a couple weeks ago, is we can, as a budget committee, we can tell the school district what our recommendations on a bottom line, but we can't tell them how to use it.
Correct.
So, and that brings up other questions in my head, but that's here nor there. Because like last year's budget meeting, the budget committee brought, like you just said, a bottom number and suggested where to cut. And they only used half of those suggestions. Well, the struggle that I'm having, and like I said, I'm learning as I go on this. Sometimes I question what's the point of having a budget committee if a school board's not.
Well, I view it as a check and balance in the structure, kind of, because if we can, hey, here's your line, like this is what we're gonna do, and we at this table don't have to have quality, even though we do have to have a full-blown quality of education. We can be sheer mathematician, like, hey, this just doesn't make business sense.
Right.
Allowing the school board and the admin in their own courts to, okay, here's the big number, and then we get to fill in the in-between, allows, to me anyways, some of the, so that we don't have a budget committee that's just waving red pens around. They can at least treat damage control. Like if we had the power to fill in all the lines in the middle, like that would be dangerous.
And not for nothing, but even though they didn't go with half of the recommendations, they cut more than what we asked.
Yes.
So that was good.
That's a great sentence that's a great reminder, I appreciate that.
And that also leaves us half of that piece of paper, half the recommendations we can recommend again this year.
You can.
If we choose to.
I mean, they were important enough to put on the paper, so.
So on communications to the school board, did you ever ask them when the last time they evaluated the methods was?
I did, and they're evaluated every year is what my response that I got.
Is there a report on that evaluation?
I do not know that.
When did the evaluation happen?
Okay.
And who was involved in it, I guess? If it's happening every year, we'll take a little more info on it.
Okay, got it. I'll find out.
I do this.
If we get the job description, then I don't need to know what that person's gonna do related to the budget. You can
Okay.
just strike that off. You got so
Okay.
many things to ask them.
Oh, that's okay. I make a little sheet and
Yeah, but they got a ton
Try.
of things to do too.
Yeah, I
don't
know,
wanna
it
be
is.
petty.
That's why I think that was suggested before when I mentioned that. Because it would be easier if you have, direct access. It would be a lot easier for everybody.
Yep.
Public comment?
Not speaking on behalf of the school, speaking as a taxpayer, I do know that the school publicly posts all job descriptions on the website under employment. You can find all active job listings there.
Thanks, sir. Does anybody have any new communications they'd like to? I think we hit a bunch of those earlier in the meeting.
What's the update on the North Walpole School?
I know nothing new about that.
North Walpole. So. That's the whole subject I pulled up. Okay, let me see how I'm gonna word this. So, the students are moving to Walpole Elementary School, and there will be a K-8 campus there, which is awesome for kids because they start somewhere and they stay there, and it's great. And it utilizes the space that's available for those students, and the teachers move with them. That North Walpole School is still in the planning stages of what it may become and how we will utilize it as maybe for central office, maybe not, I don't know. But we have to submit a plan to the state in order to make it available to us to utilize it at some future date. So we have put some rudimentary things in so that we can finalize them later on. So that way we have available that building to us to use when we get the plan finalized, if that makes sense. So I do foresee that being used in some way, shape, or form still within our district, but I just don't know what that's gonna look like at the end of the day. That's the gist of what I'm feeling from all of our meetings and all of our discussion.
Which school is this?
The North Walpole School.
That's the one up on the hill across from like Mr. G's, kind of up that way?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's been discussions about central office moving there.
Yeah, there's been a lot of discussion, and then there's been a lot of community input there, and they're taking that in, and we're talking about it and fleshing it out because we wanna, it's hard to please everyone, but we wanna utilize it in a way that makes sense for the district. So,
Yeah, if the consolidated schools save on a budget end of it, and the kids start and stop in one, that's
yeah,
totally makes sense to me.
that is huge for educational purposes, for them to
Absolutely.
be able to do that. I don't know that, right now, the numbers don't make sense for some of the things that we want to do. So that's why I'm saying that could change, or maybe something will allow that to not be a burden as far as, I don't know what it's gonna look like in the end of the day, but right now we do have a plan filed with the state so that we have that available to chip away at and refine so we can use it for something.
Because there's a question about cost of upfitting North Walpole to a central
Yeah, and
office.
it's a lot, so that's why there's like, it's filed and it's in place, but it's not the end of the, it's gonna change probably to accommodate for hopefully that not being the case, or maybe, I don't know what it's gonna end up looking like, but we're gonna do whatever we need to do in the best interest of the district as a whole.
Cool.
Sorry.
No,
I'm trying to be as informative as I can, but.
no, you are.
No, you're doing perfect. Oh, I appreciate it.
I don't have any other new communications, I mean, for the school board at the moment. Aside for patiently awaiting detailed default budget.
Oh, you don't have all the details yet?
No.
Okay. That's another question. I know that, yeah, there's probably a good reason for that, I'm sure, but I'll ask.
It's only the first, so. I am really happy with how much information this committee's gotten in the last 2 months.
And I told Lori that when we were at our last meeting for school board, I said that I really appreciate all the information you've been sharing. It's been very positive, so.
Yes, absolutely. Anybody got anything else?
Move to adjourn at 6:55 PM.
Yeah.
Second.
Any opposed?
Third. Sorry.
Very good. Meeting adjourned.
See you all next month.
Thank you, guys.